to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a particular trick and I take a deep dive into it. It could be a trick, it could be a product, it could be a creator. Kind of just depends what's happening on a week-by-week basis. And this week, I want to look at a new app. I say a new app. It's actually quite an old app, but it's just come back out again. And I'm very, very, very excited that this thing is finally back on the market. If you want to know exactly what I'm talking about and see a full performance of the app in question, then stick around. Here we go. Okay, so what exactly am I talking about? Well, I am talking about Psychic Prediction by Angelo Carbone. Now, if you haven't heard of Psychic Prediction by Angelo Carbone, probably the reason is it existed before this point as a completely different app called Magic SMS. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because this has got a kind of a history behind it, and this was my favorite app of all time until I could no longer start doing it. So basically, let me kind of give you a very brief history lesson before we go into the new app. So, Angelo Carbone, if you don't know him, is one of the greatest living creators of all time, in my opinion. You know, when you get your creations put out by Tenyo, for example, you know that you are definitely the sort of guy that can create really cool, awesome methods. And that's definitely Angelo. His tricks and his concepts are performed by people throughout the world. He is, in my opinion, a genius. Now, he's created some amazing magic, and many, and I'm talking many years ago, before it was cool to do app magic, he released SMS, Magic SMS, which was an app that was created that allowed you to apparently have a text conversation with anybody that you wanted. So what you could do is you could point out, so for example, in the old days, I used to use Darren Brown, and I used to use this all the time in every gig, but especially in restaurants. So imagine, for example, you're in a restaurant, doing a gig, and you say, hey, just so you know, I'm friends with Darren. Have you ever heard of Darren Brown? I'm friends with Darren Brown. In fact, let's see if I can get him. He's a busy guy. He might not be available, but I'm going to drop him a text and see if we can do something. And then what happens basically is you have somebody think of something. You text your friend Darren. They open up your text messages. You show that you've got a conversation going back and forth with Darren Brown. You text them and say, hey, my friend's thinking of something. Can you can you guess what it is? And then basically what happens is you have them think of a color, you have them think of a playing card. And you text the person before they even reveal any information. So you drop them a text, you put your phone on the table, you then say to them, okay, what was the color you were thinking of? What was the playing card you were thinking of? Okay, interesting. And after a period of time, your friend will text back, Darren Brown in this case, will text back, and it'll come up on the screen, the text. You know, like when you get a message and it shows you the message, but not all of it. So you say, hey, have a look at it. And the message comes up, but it doesn't give all the information because the phone's not unlocked. So you give the code to the person to unlock the phone, and when they do, it's got all the information there correctly. That's exactly what it is. And the input system that's become very popular in app magic was first created by Angelo for this particular routine. And it was light years ahead of its time. It was genius. And I think it came out when iPhones first existed. Anyway, after that, there was a version 2 because they needed to redo it because of an iOS update. And version 2 was great as well. Basically did the same thing, but there was a lot of cosmetic updates. It was always only available on an iPhone, but it was an amazing app. It was one of my favorite apps, and it was very customizable. So you could customize who the message was coming from and a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, unfortunately, because of various different problems, after several years, the app was no longer supported because of the developer, I believe, that Angelo was working with. I'm not too sure. And the app wasn't available, and I was gutted. You couldn't get it anymore. It just wouldn't work. Well, what's happened now is, fast forward to right now, 2022, the app is back. Now, the app is back as I say, it's not called Magic SMS now. It's called Perfect Prediction. for various different reasons, but it is exactly the same app. It's got exactly the same icon in it. It's exactly the same app. It's called Perfect Prediction. It does exactly the same thing, but it's even more customizable, and there's a lot of benefits, including one of the biggest things is that it is now available for Android customers as well. Speaking to Angelo, which I've been speaking to him over message, speaking to Angelo, he's always been an Android user, not an Apple user. So even though he developed what is, in my opinion, one of the best apps of all time, and definitely one of the most influential apps of all time, because remember, the input method alone for this app has been used sometimes with permission, sometimes without permission, with hundreds of other apps that have been released over the course of the last 10 years or so. Such an influential app, he's never been able to do it on his own phone at all because he doesn't have an iPhone, he uses Android. So for the first time, Angelo could perform his own trick, which is super exciting. But that's where we are. That's what Perfect Prediction is by Angelo Carbone. It is an app that allows it to look like you're having a text conversation with somebody else, and they will be able to basically give you all the information that you need. It's incredible. So with that in mind, let's have a look at a live performance of this. So I'm going to show you a live performance of this app, show you exactly what it looks like, exactly how it plays. We'll do all of that, and then when we've done that live performance, we'll bring it back into the studio and talk about what we think. So Matt, the reason I've got my phone here is we're going to text somebody in a minute, because we're going to try and do something. You know I know a lot of magicians.
Yeah.
So one of my favourite magicians in the whole world is Dynamo. I know you love Dynamo.
Oh, great
showman.
Fantastic showman. Yeah,
Fantastic, yeah.
So good.
And you know I know him, and I've spoken to him a few times, and blah, 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 blah. I thought...
Why let me talk to him?
Well, let me talk to me.
You're not important enough. But I thought that I could possibly get Dynamo to do a trick for us.
What?
I thought we could get Dynamo to do a trick. Like, he doesn't always reply to texts, but I mean, maybe he will if we get him in the right time. I thought we could text him and see if this works, because I know how much
you're going to text Dynamo?
Yeah, absolutely, I'm going to text Dynamo.
No way.
Yeah, we're going to text Dynamo. Yeah, I thought we could do a trick right here. Because all of his tricks are, well, there's one trick that I'm not impressed with that Dynamo did.
You're not impressed with it?
I just think it's a bit flawed.
What trick?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the trick he did on TV when he was in HMV and he vanished?
Yeah, all the clothes.
All the clothes just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, think this through. That means it's appeared somewhere butt naked. Imagine.
Yeah.
Is he in control of where he reappears? Like, does he just like reappear nearby? So he reappears on the other side of HMV, and everyone's just looking at stuff, and all of a sudden he just appears naked. Aha! And if he has got this ability to teleport, it's a bit rubbish, really, because he obviously can't teleport with his clothes. Therefore, he can't teleport with his money or his wallet or his phone. That's going to be left there, right?
So he's just going to lose all of his stuff naked.
So let's say you're late for the most important meeting of your life, and you go, "Don't worry about it. I'm going to teleport." First of all, you appear at this meeting naked, and then second of all, you've lost all your stuff. Just left it in HMV. So when I say Dynamo's going to do this trick, he's not going to appear naked in front of you.
I hope not.
Yeah, that would be...
Just appearing there, naked.
It'd be cool to see the guy, but preferably with clothes on.
Well, exactly. But he is incredible. So we're going to see if we can do a trick. So I'm going to text him.
Better not get his number on
Not
screen.
Lloyd. We're not going to go with Lloyd. Lloyd couldn't pull this off. There he is.
Got Darren Brown in there.
Yeah, of course I have. Although I don't think Darren could do this either. Right, okay.
You're actually texting Dynamo?
Actually, let's do this. Think of a colour. Don't tell me, just think of a colour. Yeah?
Yeah.
And think of a playing card.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Hey, bro. Hope you're well.
God. God, Dynamo, bro.
I'm here with my mate.
Yes, sir.
I'm here with my mate Matt. Brackets from the Matt test.
As if he's going to know the Matt test.
He watches the Matt test.
He doesn't.
He spoke to me about the Matt test. Really liked it.
No, he hasn't.
Although he did say to me that you remind him of Carl Pilkington.
Oh, fuck off, did he? There's no
Mate Matt. Anyway, he's thinking of a colour and a card.
Doesn't display his number anyway.
Can you help?
All right, then.
Here we go.
He's actually sent it.
Well, I don't know if he
Not going to
can.
reply though, is it?
I don't know if he can help or not. This might be the worst Magic Live in the entire history of Magic Lives.
He's going to be well busy.
He might not reply. But
Dynamo.
just in case he does reply, I don't know. I bet he sits around her a lot. I bet he just plays computer games a lot of the time, practices card tricks.
Looking for where he left his clothes.
Look, he's got lots of money because he spends so much money on hoodies and
A
stuff.
guy asked me the other day, because he was like, oh, you work for a magician, right? And I was like, yeah. And he went, how does Dynamo do that walk on water thing? I'm like, how am I supposed to know?
Well, just in case
It wasn't me, was it?
just in case he does text back, what was the colour you were thinking of? Tell the camera.
Blue.
And what was the card?
6 of diamonds.
Really? And you had a free choice. I mean, I don't know. I just. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, soon.
That's Dynamo!
What's he said?
Hi, Craig. Hope all is well. Okay, so I gave it some thought, and I think your friend is thinking of the...
Just put my code in.
Huh?
I'm just going to put my code in.
Okay, go for it.
Did you realise it's polite to not look at someone's code?
Oh, sorry.
No, please, by all means, stare at my code. I don't care. There you go. We'll display it for the entire audience to see. Sorry, read it again from the beginning.
Hi, Craig. Hope all is okay. Okay, so I gave it some thought, and I think your friend is thinking of the colour blue and the 6 of diamonds.
Does it actually say that?
Look!
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Thanks, D.
Thanks, D.
See you soon. See you soon. I'll give him a clap. I'll give him a clap. Thank you. There we go. Cool.
Did that just happen?
Good job to Dynamo. Anyway, there you go. So there you go. That is a full performance of Perfect Prediction. I mean, really, that's everything that you need to know. You don't need to know anything else. If you like what you saw, this will allow you to accomplish that same thing. However, there are certain things about the app that's worth knowing. So first of all, everything is customizable, even more so than before. So you can set profile pictures up for everybody in your photo album if you want. Everybody in your text contacts. You can create sort of photos for them. You can create a profile picture for the person that you're actually speaking to. You can customize absolutely everything. So you can change, just like the original, you can change the name of the person that you are having the text from, which we'll get to in a minute. But as well as that, the other thing that you can change is you can even change the text that comes through from the person. So you can change it and make it more appropriate. So if you're having it come from somebody, but the text doesn't make it sound like it's from them, you can change that round absolutely 100%. You can also have, because when you open up the app, there's a fake message screen where you see messages from lots of other people. You can even change the text that comes from all the other people that are in that text conversation as well. Like it's so customizable, it's ridiculous. And you can create templates and so on and so forth. There's a lot you can do. They've actually done a lot of updates on the app. And that's good. That's good because it just gives you even more options. Now, the screen, I've got an iPhone, I don't have an Android, but when you go into the text conversation, it looks like an iPhone text screen, depending on the theme that you use. There's lots of different themes and lots of different options within the phone, so you can change it around. It's obviously not 100% identical, but these days people are so used to phones being changed and the themes being changed. It looks absolutely fine. There's no issue there at all. Trying to think if there's anything else that's worth talking about. The feature of being able to change the person's name is very, very important in my opinion, because depending on the gig that you're going to, depending on what you're doing, you might want to change. So, for example, you might want to use Darren Brown like I did in the old days, or you might want to use Dynamo like I did in the performance to Matt. You might want to be, let's say you're a part of a double act. Let's say you were Young and Strange, right? Not that they do close-up very often these days, but you get the point. And you were Richard Young, and you were out doing close-up magic, and you wanted to promote that you did this show, This gives you a very natural way of doing that. You could set the person that texts you back as Sam Strange, his partner in the double act, and you could say, hey, when you perform, you can say, by the way, I do a stage show actually with a friend of mine as well, Sam Strange, and we're actually called Young and Strange. He's not actually here with me tonight, but would you like to see something? Because he's incredible at mind reading. Would you like to see a trick? And you could, because you can customize the text back from Sam, you can make it very Young and Strange-esque while promoting that you've got a person that you work with doing something else, which is a really nice way of doing it as well, to be perfectly honest. Or you could adapt it. Let's say you were going into a corporate gig. You could do it with, like maybe the MD. You could speak to the MD beforehand. I don't know. There's lots of different options. It's really up to you. But I mean, the opportunities are limitless. I'll be honest. When I did it, I only ever used Darren Brown. I like the idea of using Dynamo now, but it's completely up to you. In terms of how difficult it is, it's pretty much self-working. The only thing that you're going to need to do is you need to remember a little bit of information. Now, you could have that information on a crib very, very easily. Not a problem at all. But in all honesty with you, it's not a difficult thing to remember. What you need to remember is actually very, very easy, if that makes sense. You literally, and all the instructions are there in the app. When you download it, it takes seconds to download. You just open up the app. When you open up the app, you go into, there's a quick start guide, which will give you like a very brief overview of what you need to do, or you can go into the full instructions and it breaks it down for you step by step by step, the psychology behind what you do, why you do it, because that's really, really important. The psychology between with the input system is very, very clever. And I think people that have borrowed this method of actually inputting the information into your phone haven't actually grasped the psychology behind what Angelo is doing here. And what I mean by that is it's genius the way that the text message comes up on the screen and you tell the person to read it and they start reading it, but they can't get to the end of it, and you go, just put my code in, and you give them the code. And that's what allows them to open up the phone. So you're not putting the code in, they're putting the code in. And the only reason they're putting the code in is because they're trying to read this text message, which hasn't opened up fully. And a lot of people that use this input method, they use it very, very differently. And the psychology behind what Angelo's built into this isn't there. So that's a really important point as well. Look, ultimately, bottom line, this is an incredible app. This is absolutely amazing. I am so glad that Angelo brought this back. I know there's going to be people out there that go, I bought the original one and now I'm going to have to buy it again. And yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the arse, and I totally get that. I totally get where you're coming from. But the bottom line is, I had this app for years and years and years, and I more than got my money's worth. I've bought stuff that's gone in the bottom drawer, and I've just never used it. It's just stayed in the bottom drawer, and I've just literally, I could have taken that money, set it on fire, and used it to start a barbecue for the use that I've got out of those props. NPAD, I'm looking at you. However, so I don't mind paying for it again, especially as Angelo's had to redesign the app from the ground up. He's had to go to a new developer. He's had to source a new developer, somebody who is good, that will constantly be able to update the app. And, that costs money. So I totally understand why this is a new release. And I don't have a problem with it. If you have a problem with it, hey, I totally understand. Maybe this app's not for you, but it means that then you're not going to be able to do this particular trick. And as I say, for the first time ever, Android users are going to be able to do this. So all of you people that have got an Android phone, you're now going to be able to do this app that we iPhone users for over a decade have realized is just absolutely awesome. I'm going to give this trick 100%, and this is based purely on the fact that I have done this for years. I know the reactions this gets. This doesn't even feel like a magic trick. It doesn't feel like a magic trick. It feels like you've got this psychic friend who is actually able to do magic, and you're kind of pulling back the curtain on this incredible world and giving them a sneak peek. It's really good. It's getting 100% from me, and I highly recommend it. So there you go. That is Perfect Prediction by Angelo Carbone, one of the best apps on the market, and I'm so glad it's back. So there you go, guys. That's another that's another review show special in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. You want to see more videos like this? You know what you got to do. You just got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Now I'm going to be back again later. Well, no, that's it today. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a whole bunch more videos. I'm going to be back all next week. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, and please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the NETRIX. That's www.thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform, and I spend a lot of time and effort making it the best it can be. If you got any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.